welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shail Bhatnagar. It's Monday and the start of a new week. And of course, it's also Raksha Bandhan. So here's wishing all our viewers all the festival greetings as well. When we talk about the markets, we've had a super ending to the last week. They ended on a high note. And in fact, the Indian benchmark, Indian equities, we did see the ending with a weekly gain after 2 consecutive weeks of losses. In fact, for the last 8 trading sessions, we've actually seen the Nifty struggling to cross the resistance range of 24,350 on the downside and 24,500 as well. Now, on Friday, the second half is when the market sprung back into action, and at the start of this new trading week, which is going to be the penultimate one before the F&O expiry week as well. So the bulls will not only want to defend that 24,500 mark on the downside, but would also want to take the index further higher back to the 25,000 mark as well. Even for the Nifty Bank, it closed above 50,500 mark on Friday for the first time after August 1st and post nearly an 800-point rally as well. So remains to be seen whether what was set on Friday will continue in this new trading week as well. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are on 19th of August. We start a fresh week. Remember, the last week was phenomenal as far as equities were concerned, but overall, August has been flat. So the Nifty and the Bank Nifty have recovered very sharply as far as markets are concerned in the truncated week that was experienced in midst of very weak, in fact, bearish news. The last 15 days have been troubling for the markets. The Nifty is up just 0.5%. The Bank Nifty is actually down 0.6%. This is despite the very strong rally that you saw on Friday based on global cues. The Nifty was up 1.65%, 24,541. The screen is right there in front of you, the daily Nifty chart, and the Nifty Bank, of course, added 1.6% at about 50,516. Cues that are coming in from Wall Street, cues that are coming in from Asia, as also GIFT Nifty, point to a 50 to 60 point uptick. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the life gets very interesting for long-term viewers of the market as also investors. We'll again go back to the Nifty chart and the gap that you see between August 2nd and August 5th. This was the first day of a serious fall on a Monday 2 weeks ago, when the index, the Nifty, corrected very sharply because the yen carry trade was unwinding in the US market. So a combination of mostly global news and some bearish local news, especially in the format of Hindenburg and SEBI, put the index on a back foot. But over the past 6-7 trading sessions, the Nifty in particular is taking support at its 50-day moving average, and on Friday not only did it bounce very sharply because of strong global cues, it also closed above the most crucial average, which is the 20-day exploration moving average, which essentially means that now the trend is back towards being positive, and all dips in the index need to be purchased for a long target. Now you will see the Nifty react positively in the opening. Wait for the first 15, 20, 30 minutes for the index to remain above 24,600 if need be, and then the long trade will probably start to work. I am expecting a bit of profit booking because a 400-point uptick happened on Friday. That needs to be digested. A 70-60 point gap up that will happen on the Nifty because of GIFT Nifty and overseas cues. That needs to be digested. Let the index, sort of give back some of these gains, and then we are likely to re-enter on the long side. That is the story of the Nifty. Things look good. The index has done nothing in August so far. It needs to recoup its earlier highs, which is 25,074. Let us see whether 24,600, 24,650 are with the bulls in today's trade. I am very hopeful that you will see a positive outcome because the IT index is doing phenomenally well. If you see the top 5 gainers as far as Nifty is concerned last week, they were all IT companies, primarily TCS, Infosys, L&T Mindtree, HCL Tech. So these were the stocks that helped the Nifty reduce its losses and close flat on a monthly basis so far. That's the Nifty as far as the index is concerned. Let's look at some other points of trade in the market. Sectoral rotation is happening apace. We see money pouring into pharma. We see money coming into IT stocks. Remember, they were undervalued, underappreciated and not liked by the market. This is likely to continue. And where is this money coming from? This is coming from defense stocks. This is coming from some railway stocks. This is coming from many mid caps and small caps that have corrected 30-40% from their overstretched valuations, overstretched charts, and getting into sectors that make sense at a time when overall valuations of the market are extremely high. So keep this sectoral rotation in mind and keep your expectations level extremely low. Now the market will search for fresh cues because the first quarter earnings are out of the way, and it is now mostly news driven and stock driven. Three sets of developments happening as far as markets are concerned. Post market hours on Friday, there was a cabinet meet. A nod has been given to 3 metro projects in 3 different cities. The phase 3 of Bangalore metro will start. Pune will see an extension of its current metro capacity, phase 2, and of course next to Mumbai, Thane will see an internal Thane network being expanded, as also the connectivity from Mumbai will also improve. All put together, this is about a 27,000 crore rupee project, of which Mumbai Thane is supposed to be 15,600. Stocks to watch: BEML and Titagarh. Apart from that, keep an eye out on ONGC, Oil India, and of course the 3 oil marketing companies. The Nifty Energy Index is likely to be the outperformer today for 2 reasons. Windfall tax has been decreased very substantially because crude oil prices have slipped from $78 a barrel to about $74 a barrel. That's good news. As also, you will have to keep an eye out for NBCC. The company in its con call has said that it expects its margins to be in the vicinity of 5 to 6% and its order book to rise by 1 lakh crore rupees in the next financial year, as also this year. Keep an eye out on this government contractor. Sakshi, this is from my side. What is Wall Street telling you? Look at the chart of the Nasdaq. It's doing phenomenally well, as also the index comparative. Despite Friday's rally, we are still behind Wall Street. So that's a lot of catch up to do.
Absolutely. Most of the markets in the US, they ended the week with almost up to 4% kind of a surge. So the entire week was also very positive for the entire Wall Street as well. The US markets on Friday night, the S&P 500 advanced about 0.2%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, that rose about 0.24%, while the Nasdaq Composite increased by about 0.21% as well. So that was the kind of a move that we actually saw across the board, and a strong rally unfolded. 2.3% uptake on Nasdaq, 1.6% uptake on S&P 500, and also Dow Jones up by about 1.4%. Now, Asia Pacific markets opened mixed this morning. China's Shanghai Composite was up by about 0.07%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose by about 1.8%. However, it was Japan's Nikkei that traded lower by about 0.35% as well. South Korea's Kospi dropped by about 0.4% as well. Market participants are now awaiting a macro data, including South Korea's rate hike decision and the minutes of Australia's central bank's August meeting as well. Remember, for the Wall Street, it will be important that by Friday we will be seeing Jerome Powell's meeting also unfold. So that will be the big cue that the Wall Street will be also keeping an eye out on, and so will be the global markets as well. As far as back home is concerned, benchmark indices, Sensex and the Nifty, they are poised to for an opening in the positive zone today, buoyed by the positive global cues, as well as the gift Nifty futures that are now indicating a positive start, quoting about 72 points higher in trade. Overseas investors also, they snapped a 3-session selling streak as they turned net buyers on Friday. Foreign portfolio investors mopped up equities worth about 766 odd crores, while the domestic institutional investors, they remained net buyers for the 10th consecutive session, and they mopped up equities worth about 2,606 odd crore rupees as of Friday as well. Now, as far as some of the stocks are concerned, apart from the list that Shail has also shared with you, some more stocks you can keep an eye out on, like Hindustan Zinc. Here, the promoter Vedanta is set to exercise its green shoe option, selling an additional 1.95% equity stake in Hindustan distancing through the offer for sale. This OFS will be open to retail investors on Monday. Remember, the Maruti Suzuki India company will also be in focus, and the stock will be too. The company is now set to witness a one-time impact of an 850 odd crore rupees on its profitability in the September quarter. This is due to the reinstatement of the account provision for deferred tax liability. This adjustment follows the changes in the taxation policy, especially the withdrawal of the indexation benefit and the alteration of the tax rate on the debt mutual funds front as well. The tax rate has been revised from 20% plus surcharge and a cess with indexation to about 12.5% plus surcharge and the cess without indexation. GMR Airports Infra will be in focus. The passengers traffic across all airports in July has actually seen a sharp rally of about 7.7% year on year, reaching to over 1.06 crores. Domestic passenger traffic has grown by over 7.1%. International passenger traffic has risen by 9.3% during the same period as well. Adani Enterprises, I'm keeping a keen eye out on. The company now plans to raise 800 crores by issuing non-convertible debentures. The company will raise 400 crores with an option to retain the oversubscription of up to 400 additional crore rupees as well. DCX Systems, the company has received orders totaling 107.09 crores from both domestic and international customers. The orders for the supply of electronic kits and cable and wire harness assemblies is what it is. Now, Escorts Kubota is also going to be in focus. The company has submitted an investment intent in Uttar Pradesh to acquire land in the state to set up a greenfield facility. The company intends to invest about 4,500 crores through direct and indirect investment in multiple phases. The annual production revenue is estimated at over 10,000 crores at the full capacity as well for the company. KPI Green Energy, the company has raised about 100 crores via QIP and has allotted 1.06 crore shares to QIBs at 935 rupees per share. So that's going to be another one that we are going to be keeping a keen eye out on. These are some of the stocks that I'm watching out for, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by Mr. Chakri Lokpriya, Managing Partner at Red Strawberry LLP. Good morning to you, Chakri, and a very warm welcome. We start a fresh week on Dalal Street at a time when everybody is questioning valuations after a very tepid first quarter, which was hit mainly because of margin pressure and how OMCs performed. How do you see the market from now on, given the background noise that seems to be getting increasingly political when it comes to this SEBI Hindenburg issue? What are your views about the market ahead?
Good morning, and I hope we have a good week. In terms of what has happened is earnings for the quarter. Probably for the broader market, for the index at level, the EBITDA has grown anywhere from around 8 to 12%. On the other hand, the earnings per share has grown anywhere from about 12 to about 14%. Margins for the utilities, for the industrials have expanded, whereas margins for the consumer-facing companies have contracted. And any company like in construction, like EPC type of construction, they have all those infra-related companies have seen a slowdown, partly because of elections, partly because of seasonality, but partly because of new order growth actually slowing down. Now that is the concern, which we should wait and hope that will pick up. Now, what is the hope? The interest rates are being cut. The RBI should start cutting the cycle. That will lead to an acceleration of growth. Against this backdrop, the market is trading at about 19 times, which is not an expensive multiple. And therefore, I think as there is an uptick, an upgrade in earnings, we will see the market moving up.
Good morning to you, Chakri. Good to have you with us, and season's greetings. Happy Raksha Bandhan to you and to all your family members as well. Before we go on to the macros, I want to understand from you. You've been investing in the markets for too long. Could you highlight any one or two stocks or few stocks that have actually provided Raksha to your portfolio all the time? Those stocks which have actually supported your stock portfolio all the time. What are the kind of stocks that you would always bet big on?
Yes, happy Raksha Bandhan to you. I think, what will provide that kind of security today is IT, information technology, because, that's an under-owned sector. The US interest rates are going to start being cut, in probably come another 2 or 3 weeks, by about in the second, third week of September. Once that starts happening, it gives greater confidence to US companies to start releasing their purse strings in doing IT projects. Now, that is the biggest catalyst that is needed for the Indian IT companies. And I think so that is step one. That is the step one for the companies. And second is, along with that, we will also see hopefully the RBI changing a stance when the US starts cutting interest rates. RBI will also start making the right action. I think these two catalysts will kind of pick up the overall earnings.
Again, let's touch upon stock picking, Chakri. This is a market where mostly a vast set of mid caps have come down dramatically, mainly because valuations were overstretched, and of course they were sort of being driven more by liquidity rather than any sustained earnings performance. Chakri, where do you think the money of your clients and yours in particular should be headed over the next 1 or 2 months into any mid cap or small cap that you find attractive at current levels?
One is clearly IT, information technology, where, I think, the room for error, we have sufficient comfort and valuations as well as outlook. So whether if it is the large cap, which is TCS, Infosys, HCL Technologies, the usual suspects, very simple that is. And if you go down the curve, then it is Persistent, Emphasis is looking good. Now, if you look at the recent correction amongst the mid cap, now where is the greatest earnings strength for financials is still in the power financing companies. Now they have corrected in the last 1 month or so, power finance, REC. But I think compared to like the PSU banks or even the private sector banks, these power financing companies will show the greatest earnings growth. So in the mid caps, I think those are the companies to look out for.
Got it. Now, Chakri, also wanted to understand from you, off late over the last, 10 odd days, we've actually seen a very strong move across the pharma space as well. How are you looking and assessing this move? Are there any newer names that have come on your radar within the pharma pack as well? Would you look beyond the large caps and probably some of the interesting mid cap pharma names as well now? Do you think the time is ripe for investors to look at this?
Pharmaceutical as a sector still remains to be a very stock-specific approach. As a sector, I think, the policy wins will only happen after the US election with November, which means you'll see January, February of next year. There are pricing changes that will happen for US generics, APIs, etc., which will impact the Indian pharmaceutical industry's earnings trajectory. Until then, I think, companies like Lupin looks okay, Cipla looks okay, but beyond that, I won't really go into it as a sector.
Chakri, let's look at one more space that is coming under severe pressure, and that's defense. Some stocks have corrected 20%, such as Cochin, such as Garden Reach. There are many others which are down about 25 to 30%. Are these levels where you would sort of stretch your neck out and say, let's start nibbling, let's start buying? Or do you think correction is still a way to go in stocks such as shipbuilders, in particular Garden Reach and Cochin? What are the first quarter earnings telling you in comparison with fourth quarter earnings?
The first quarter earnings are saying that, the order book is strong, whereas the execution has slowed down. Now, the execution slowing down is a very temporary thing in the case of long cycle companies such as Cochin Shipyard. It's because these are long cycle orders. And so, which means there is nothing much to worry about in terms of how fast they can convert the order book into revenues. And that, for various reasons, can seasonally slow down. So clearly, if you want to hold stock, clearly continue to hold it. What one should stay away from making fresh buys at current levels. What is needed again is when we see a pickup in execution. That's all is needed. Order books are very good and very strong.
Okay. Chakri, also wanted to understand from you, as we move into the latter half of the fiscal year now, are there any key themes that you would bet big now on with the spring in action that we actually saw on Friday? It seems like not all hope is lost and the markets could still probably try to move beyond that 25,000 yet again. So in case that were to happen, if we see a second leg of the rally now, do you think there will be newer outperformers, newer sectors that one should be really looking at?
Clearly, the outlook is intact because, it's become now fairly evident that the US language of US Fed has changed dramatically in the last couple of weeks. Now, so that is a very much needed catalyst for India as well as the rest of the world because for various reasons that real interest rate differentials between countries need to be maintained for RBI and other central banks to move down rates. Look at the working capital cycles of Indian construction companies. They have been delayed. Why have they been delayed is that some of the receivables are stuck due to various reasons, but the order book is fine. Private capex is not picked up. Now, so long story short, I think the simple trades are one is IT. Second is, you look at some of the corrected companies, solar is still very strong, utilities is still very strong. Suzlon has done very well, Sterling Wilson done very well, but they still will continue to do very well. There's huge amount of comfort there. And power financing companies, which we discussed. Among the large caps, maybe NTPC.
That's a very sensible pick, NTPC. It's one of those stocks, Sakshi, that has barely, corrected in this very strong down dip that we saw a couple of days ago. And at 415, 420, 400 levels, it's a great stock to look forward to. There is an IPO in the pipeline for NTPC Green. That is something to be looked forward to. And of course, the green energy portfolio of parent NTPC is expanding as well. Chakri, a view on public sector banks. The reason why I asked today is that the finance ministry is meeting with all the heads of public sector banks and regional rural banks to take an understanding of the climate that they think is ahead of them in terms of investment and deposit growth. And more importantly, the PSU banking index is the worst performing index over the last 1 month or so, down about 8%. Your views here, what do you think is making sense? Buying this dip or staying away?
Public sector banks' balance sheets have been the strongest that they have been in a decade. And now if you reverse back approximately 7, 8 years, 10 years ago, the reason why the balance sheets went bad is because of when the Supreme Court at that time had cancelled all the coal mines to various mining companies and steel companies, and which resulted in bank NPAs. Now Supreme Court, again fast forward 10 years later, now few days ago has imposed a mining tax, retroactive tax. So if that is implemented, 1,60,000 crores or more is the losses that the mining metal companies will face. Of course, they can quote it saying that it will be spread out over the next 10 years, but that will restrict capex and create NPAs for the banks, restrict capex for mining companies, and reduce job growth for in the mining metal sector. So that can pull down the PSU banks' growth rates. So I hope this as a matter is discussed in today's meeting as well.
Another space that I wanted you to throw light upon is, Chakri, Ola Electric. The way the IPO came in at 76 odd rupees, it's a loss-making company, we all know that. But the stock is doubled in just about 5 days. 3 upper circuits of 20% is what we've seen. And now is that the narrative is investors are feeling that, they've actually missed it. How are you looking at Ola Electric story?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The stock has gone up in three upper circuits in a very short period of time. Now, after all this, now today its valuation is more than double that of all the Chinese counterparts who are in a very similar space, manufacturing the same Ola type of electric vehicles and addressing a very similar type of market. And so now the expectation is if you have to try to fight it, that somehow it will grow faster than the foreign counterparts, which I find it to be a bit tough. So I'll stay away from Ola Electric purely on valuation grounds.
Fair point. A 20% circuit each day for the first two, followed by another 20%, but on the third day it sort of paused, and then you have a price of 133. I think the IPO was at 76 rupees, got listed at 78, hasn't looked back since. That's the story, ladies and gentlemen, of this liquidity driven boost that we are seeing in Indian markets. Chakri, just as Ola has shot up dramatically, there is an equally strong demand for Zomato, especially around its earnings at between 290 and 300 rupees. Sakshi, I think there's a very good research report coming out on Zomato today from Nomura. Am I mistaken? Is that the company that's come out with a research report? Meanwhile, your views, Chakri, on Zomato?
Zomato has clearly shown a margin improvement with their ability to lower down costs and rather improve volumes, which has kind of improved their margins. And plus, the near-term the Insta deliveries part of the business is set to grow faster, and hopefully that is the business which needs to show some amount of margin improvement for the overall company's margins to hold up. So in anticipation of that happening, the stock has run up. So I think the clear expectation is for these two things to happen.
In fact, interestingly, Shail, it's UBS report on Zomato. They have a buy rating and they've raised the target price to 320 rupees. They believe Q1 surprised positively with not only a stronger quick commerce GMV growth of 130% year on year, but also a solid 27% growth in the food delivery business, and both ahead of their own estimates, as well as margin expansion in both segments. And the management optimistic with the implicit positive guidance as well is what they are betting big on. So that's the report that's coming in. Just about 30 seconds remaining. Within the new age internet space, anything beyond Zomato also that interests you? We've actually seen some moves over the last week.
Yeah, maybe PB FinTech looks okay, but the stocks in the last couple of weeks have run up quite a bit. So I think, just let's wait before you jump into these stocks.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we start a fresh week with the Nifty capturing 24,500 last week as far as bulls are concerned. We are likely to see a mild gap up because of strong overseas cues. Let us see how long this gap up lasts. 400 points were notched up by bulls on Friday. The index is flat on a monthly basis as far as the August FNO expiry is concerned. And ladies and gentlemen, like I've always said, let's take this pre-open, open and close the market 300 points higher. I just love it. 24,860. Let's see, this is a Raksha Bandhan gift. Sakshi, let's close the market and capture 24,800 for us. I am sure Chakri will also agree कि भाई ठीक है यहाँ तक बढ़िया है. चलो, we have to sort of run past the day. And let's look at what's driving these markets so wonderfully well. Okay, Infosys 2.2% higher, 1900. This is heading towards a record high. Ditto for TCS, 4430, 1485. Chakri has mentioned that he feels IT is looking good. It's a sensible 100-point uptick on the Nifty now. It's settled 24,651. Let's hope at least this one remains. Okay, L&T 31 rupees higher, 3600. Let's look at the two most important ones. HDFC Bank for the moment 20 rupees higher, 19 rupees 40 higher, 1651. This is looking good. There is no quote on Reliance as yet. And look what is in the defensive. Hindustan Unilever 4 rupees 25 down, 27.44. Nothing to be worried about. Okay, top gainer on NSE 500. BEML. I marked this stock because of the cabinet note to 3 metro projects. Remember, BEML makes the carriages of the metro that you travel in. 7% higher, 4,000. There is an invite that the government of India has put out for NMDC's steel unit, which is called NMDC Steel, up 4% at 56 rupees. Sakshi pointed out Escorts. The company wants to set up a new plant in Uttar Pradesh at the cost of 4,000 crore rupees. In the green, 3760. Zomato, ladies and gentlemen, 3.3% higher, 273. I'd just like to look at oil marketing companies, ONGC and Oil India. Remember, the windfall tax has come down, and we also have a strong queue coming in from crude oil prices. 2% higher on ONGC, 336. Let me just look at the energy index, and a lot of OMCs should do well. Okay, you have BPCL 1.65% higher, Indian Oil Corporation 1.3% higher, and of course I want to see what Oil India is doing. That is something that needs to be watched out. It's the most active energy explorer that we have. Okay, 124 points higher, 24,665. Let's again revisit the FNO space and look at the most active counters in terms of gainers. Emphasis again, IT 2.3% higher, 29.98. No stopping Balrampur Chini. GMR Infra came up with its July numbers for airport travel, 2.4% higher, 98.2. This is looking good. Birla Soft 1.2% higher, 608. So basically the trading mojo is back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how it goes from now on. The Nifty is a sensible 63 points higher, 24,604. Sakshi.
Okay, got it. Let's again look at some of the other stocks as well. Let's look at Hindustan Zinc, for instance, to see how that one is opening up. Remember, promoter Vedanta is to exercise this green shoe option by selling additional 1.95% stake. There's a 5% downtick right now in the pre-open, 493 currently on this one. Maruti Suzuki, let's look at that. Remember, the company has indicated that they may be looking at a one-time impact of 850 odd crore rupees in the September quarter due to the changes in the taxation bit, especially of the debt mutual funds. So that could be an impact. There's a flattish with a negative bias kind of a trade there. But let's also look at Adani Enterprises, which is looking at an 800 crore rupees fundraise now via the NCD's front too. So a lot of fundraise activity that is picking up pace within the Adani group. It was Adani Energy Solutions earlier, and now a flagship firm also looking at some more fundraise, 0.4% of an uptick for this one. GMR Airports Infra, let's look at that, whether that has seen an impact of the rise in the passenger traffic across both domestic and international in July as well. There's a 2.5% uptick on this one. Let's look at some brokerage houses reactions. Voltas was on top radar of UBS. Whether that one has picked up pace. There was a target price that they raised to 1960 on Voltas. The account hasn't opened yet. Let's look at Oro Pharma. HSBC has a buy rating with a target price of 1625 on Aurobindo Pharma. Let's see if whether that has also reacted. They do believe the FDA issued a warning letter to UGR3, the company's injectable plant. So whether there is a reaction for that one, flattish with a negative bias right now. Let's also look at healthcare. Entero Healthcare, in fact, Jefferies came out with a buy rating and a 1510 target on Entero Healthcare. They do believe Q1 was in line with the estimates, and the company reiterated their FY25 revenue growth guidance of 35 to 40 odd %. So that's the kind of move that we saw. Suntech Realty from the real estate space. Let's look at that. There's a Jefferies report with a buy target and a 690 target price on that one too. They do believe the revival of a long stuck JV in Dubai now adds nearly a quarter to company's NAVs, and the key positive from Q1 results could be picking up 0.7% of an uptick for this one as well. So those are some of the initial reactions that we are looking at within the markets. Let's also look at how Ola Electric is also opening up. Do we have that? Let's see how that one is opening up in the new market week as well. Last week has been phenomenal. There's a 4% uptick right now, 138.4. Let's also pull up M&M. Remember, M&M was one of the outperformers within the auto space as well last week because of the new Thar that got released as well. The stock was definitely up in action. So let's see whether that one has also moved up in the early morning trading session. 0.7% of an uptick. Let's get Chakri here. Chakri, since we were discussing the auto space, Ola Electric is what we discussed. Within the large cap names, the four-wheeler names also, how are you looking at some such stories? Some negative news on Maruti, but positive news flow with respect to new launches in M&M.
I think M&M's new launch will clearly allow it to take some market share. It's a car which is bigger than its previous version in length, so it will fall under a different tax structure, a higher tax structure, but of course a different price point and a higher margin. And that volumes clearly will be lower than the Thar, but the margins of this should help the company to. It's a positive thing in the development for the company. Overall, still M&M is a buy.
$9:07 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. The markets have settled. Nifty is trying to open 95 points higher. It's a higher gap up. This is good at 24,636. Remember, the gap down that we saw between August 2nd and August 5th will now be filled. Let us hope there is a mild correction in the first 15-20 minutes of trade, and then with that dip the market aims higher for maybe 24,700 or maybe 24,650 in today's trade. Chakri, a view that needs to come in from your side is the railway space. Lots of views in the market where people want to book profit after 5x, 7x, 10x gains on stocks like IRFC, RVNL, IRCON, etc. And there is this momentum coming in from the government in terms of new orders. How do you analyze the railway space, particularly the PSU pack, and what would be the top pick?
Whether it's Titagar or RVNL, these companies, in spite of having run up as much as they have done, valuation-wise, if you're going to hold it for a sufficiently period for the next couple of years, an investor would clearly make returns, good returns, more than the index returns from the stocks. Because the order momentum that you're seeing in the sector has been the strongest in several decades, and I think some of it is still not priced in yet. The valuations are high, no doubt, but I think clearly hold on to it. RVNL looks fine. Titagar Wagon looks fine.
Okay, so that's as far as the railway story is concerned. Zomato is also opening up about 4% after that bullish report. Now 275 currently on Zomato. We'll continue to look at how the stock reacts in opening as well. Let's also see how Paytm has reacted. There's a Bernstein report with a 600 target price on Paytm as well. So let's see how that one is also opening up in the initial trading session in the pre-opening space. 565 currently, about a 0.2% of an uptick. PB Fintech, as Chakri something mentioned before also, that's also opening with a positive bias right now. There are some other stocks like Zaggle Prepaid that's been in focus. 1.6% higher in trade is what it is opening at as well. So those are some of the broader names that we wanted to discuss. KPI Green Energy, remember 1,000 crore rupees QIP, that's also opening about 3.8% higher in trade. How does the picture look like as the pre-opening markets have settled? The Nifty looks to open at 24,636, a 0.4% of an uptick right now, and 95 points of a tick higher. All the sectors seem to be opening higher. It could be the oil and gas space, just like how Shail initially highlighted, that could be again in the limelight today. ONGC seems to be opening about 1.7% higher in trade. BPCL follows up next. That Oil India too about 2% higher in trade. Let's get Chakri's view here. The energy space as a whole, Chakri, how would you be really looking at the upstream versus downstream majors?
ONGC clearly valuation is still very attractive. They're going to show a 12 to 14% volume growth. And now that the windfall tax has kind of been eased, and with oil prices also coming off, I think the margins it gives more room for ONGC to play around with its upstream and downstream margins. And also given that there's new capex plans, I think it positions well for earnings growth for the company. So therefore, valuations wise very cheap. ONGC is clearly a buy.
Ladies and gentlemen, 9:11, as good a time as any to welcome Mr. Kunal Parar, Vice President for Technical Research at Choice Equity Broking. Namaste Kunal ji, स्वागत है आपका. Two stocks you feel that will outperform the broader markets at current levels on the long or the short side. What do you feel?
Good morning, Shailji. Now, two stocks are there. One is Bharat Forge. If you look at the chart looks very attractive to me. And pre-opening, it is opening somewhere around 1586. So one can go for buy in Bharat Forge at 1586. 1550 would be the SL. And if you talk about the target size, then first target comes at 1615. And if stock breaks this level, then we can see good upside momentum up to the level of 1660. Whereas the second stock that I'm looking means where the momentum looking is very good is the Glaxo. Okay, if you look at the Glaxo chart, then right now stock is opening somewhere around on pre-opening. It is opening somewhere around 2969, and recently it has given a breakout of its recent top. As well as it has been trading above its 50 MA. So Glaxo looks very good to me from the present level. One can go for long at 2969. If we talk about the SL side, then downside SL comes at somewhere around 2900. Upper side target, first target is 3030, and second target comes at 3100.
Okay. What would be your favorite stock from the IT space?
Well, Zelji, if we talk about overall IT space, then in small cap, Bsoft look very good to me. Overall IT sector actually looks very good, but from this counters, Bsoft right now looks very good to me. This stock has given a breakout of the recent top, which was stood at 525. In pre-opening, it is giving an opening somewhere around 607 level, so one can go for long in Bsoft right now. If we talk about SL side, then downside SL comes at 580. Right now stock is trading 602. One can keep 580 as a strict SL. If we talk about the target side, then first target comes at 620, and if stock gives breakout of the 620, then we can see 650 as well. Not only this, if we talk about large cap side, then in large cap, Infosys looks very good to me. One can go for long even Infosys as well.
Okay, got it. Kunal, quickly, if you could tell us what would you do with Zomato, and would you be also looking at any other internet-based stock today?
Well, Zomato right now it is giving an opening with 5% upside momentum, and at 278 level. The way stock has been trading since last few days, I think we can see good upside momentum in the counter up to the level of 285. And if stock cross this 285, then somewhere around 360, 370 would be there. So if you have a Zomato in your portfolio, please hold this stock. We can see a very good upside momentum in the counter.
Okay, got it. Chakri, we'll bring you into the conversation yet. I think the one thing we haven't yet touched base upon is with respect to the earnings upgrades or downgrades, if any, that you have understood from the quarterly earnings that have just passed by. Any key stocks and sectors that stood out for you?
I think industrials and metals and usually power utilities. These sectors have shown the strongest upgrades. So they'll be anywhere between 8 to 12% on the top line and a better number on the bottom line. So about 14, 15%. Whereas IT has not shown improvement so far, which I think will start showing going forward. FMCG and staples has again same story, will hopefully improve going forward. So among this, I think the best outlook rather is in the information technology sector.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the markets have opened 24,623 for you, 80-point uptick on the Nifty. The Bank Nifty is 114 points higher, flat as flat can be. A green tick on the Nifty 500. This is the most important index, ladies and gentlemen. The broadest measure that we have with 500 stocks, 0.5% higher, 23,164. And a mild green tick on IT. We will live with that. Okay, let's look at outperformers and Zomato. Taking it away, 4% higher, This is the top performing stock as far as NSE 500 is concerned. 275 for you on the board. What else is sticking? CDSL and CAMS as well. CDSL in particular, remember, a 1:1 bonus issue has to become effective. The record days nears 3.5% higher, 2887. This is a record high. Okay, now let's get back to index heavyweights. HDFC Bank flat, 1631, 1 rupee 70 lower. Reliance is helping the Nifty, 21 rupees higher, 2976. L&T is 0.5% higher, 3588. There is a green tick on ICICI Bank, 7 rupees higher, 1194. And of course, you have a green tick on SBI as well, 580, 5.9 rupees higher, 817. The only index that I need to look at today is the Nifty PSU Banking Index, that is of critical importance, up about 1% at 6901. This was the worst performing index over the last 1 month, down 8%. Remember, there's a government meet when it comes to checking the financial health of this sector. Advanced decline is fairly strong. You have 1750 stocks in the green, 366 in the red. We track 19 indices for you, 18 are in the green, led by the media and the realty and of course the energy index. I'll focus on the energy index today, 1% higher, 43,235. What else is clicking in the most active list? Okay, Hindustan Zinc, Sakshi pointed this out, 5% lower, 491. Remember, the FPO price is 486. The company is raising 11,000 crore rupees. Today, it's the turn for retail investors to apply. CDSL 4% higher, change of digits 2900. RVNL 2% higher, 582. Masgaon 3.4% lower. Remember, defense is getting kicked in the face, 4811. Mild profit booking on Suzlon. ONGC 2.5% higher. Hindustan Aeronautics 0.5% higher. Oil India 2.3% higher, 693. This is looking good, and buzzing in the FNO space is Balrampur Chini, 2% higher. Birla Soft 623 in the green. Let's go to Kunal. Kunal, your view on CDSL, what would you do, and anything that catches your attention in the pre-open market, in the open market? Nifty is still up 60 points.
Well, yes, Nifty is trading 24,603 level, and if we talk about CDSL, right now it is trading at 2,924. It has already given a breakout of its 2,500. It has been trading in uncharted territory, so we can see further upside momentum would be there. However, I would not suggest to go for a fresh long position in the counter, because risk reward is not that much favorable for the fresh buying. But yes, if you have this stock in your portfolio, then hold this stock. We can see very good upside momentum. As per the retracement level, we can say somewhere around 3,100 to 3,180 would be there in upcoming trading session. So hold this stock. We can see very good upside momentum in the counter.
Okay, Chakri, 8% higher on Ola Electric at 144. Would you still see that this as a FOMO driving up the rally right now?
The stock is up like say 70% in the last few days. So, and the valuations are now moved up. I mean, you compare it to whether TVS Motors versus or the Chinese EV companies, it's like double, triple the valuation. So I think I would exercise some amount of caution.
Okay, got it. And how about Zomato, which is opening at record high levels? What would you do there?
I think Zomato clearly, if they do these two things of instant delivery, they show improvement in margins as well as overall in the gross market value. The expectation is the volumes will improve. Then I think Zomato will do well over the next 1 year or so.
Got it.
920, ladies and gentlemen. The Nifty is 66 points higher. Just a mild red tick on the IT index, which we will completely ignore because this was the one that fueled the rally very sharply when it came to Friday. What else is doing pretty well? Prudent Advisory. Not many people know of this company. This is a mutual fund advisor, down 4% at 2434. Remember, this was doing pretty well in the markets. This is an Ahmedabad-based company. We have RVNL 2.5% higher, 586.35. These are the counters that I'm talking in terms of top traded. Let's look at top gainers. Any name that I would like to put out? Yes, Kitex. This is a textile player, 8.5% higher, and at the moment 33.51. Almost 41 crores worth of transactions have been done. There is a very strong move coming into CDSL, 5.5% higher. Already 295 crores worth of shares have been traded in the first 4 or 5 minutes of trade. Anything else that I would just like to point out within the circuits? No, I'll just keep quiet because these names shouldn't be mentioned on the public platform. Trent, 1% higher. There is no stopping Gravita. Remember, this is a lead extractor that buys defunct car batteries and extracts lead. Again, it's at a fresh high, 6% higher, 23.56. Anantaraj Industries, 3% higher, 605. Strong moves coming in the markets as far as prices are concerned, 922. Let's look at the list of new highs that make sense at this level. Sakshi's pointed out Zomato and CDSL. Petronet LNG, yes, this is something to look forward to. Again, coming in from the energy space. Kunal, your view on Petronet LNG, 2% higher, 378. Is this something to be chased or not?
Definitely, the way stock is trading since morning, and the way stock has been trading since last 1 to 2 months, yes, definitely once you chase this stock right now trading at 378, and it is near to give a breakout of its recent top. Not only this, if you talk about all the time frame, long term, short term, medium term, all the time frame is saying only one thing to get into the stock at present level. 377 right now stock is trading. One can get into the stock at 377. If you talk about SL side, then downside the strict strong support comes at 362. So 377 one can get into the stock with this 362 as a strict SL. If you talk about target side, then first target comes at 390, 390, and if stock gives a breakout of this 390, then we can see a very good upside momentum up to the level of 410. It means we can say 7 to 8% momentum would be there in the counter. So yes, definitely one should chase the stock.
Okay, Kunal, another stock that I want your attention on is within the FNO space, and that's PVR Inox. It's up over 3%. Remember, last week also there was a momentum, and this was after the sharp success that we are actually seeing of 3-2 at the box office, which is now nearing 200 crores within the first 4 days of its opening as well on the August 15 weekend. How would you really look at PVR Inox?
Well, stock is giving a breakout of its recent top, which is placed at 1522. Not only this, it is giving a breakout of its conjunction period in which it was trading since last 4 to 5 months. So yes, we can say super momentum would be there in the counter right now. 1546 right now counter is trading at this level. So definitely, but I would say rather to go for FNO, one can create a position in cash side only because risk reward is not that much of favorable for the FNO counters. But yes, for cash counter it is. So one can get into the stock at 1548 level. If we talk about SL side, SL comes little bit lower level at 1420 level. However, if you talk about the target side, then target comes at good level. First target comes at 1650 level. And if stock gives a breakout of this 1650 level, then 1810 would be there, which means we can say 16 to 17% of momentum. Then we can see in the cash side. So yes, it's good to go for long. Let's strict SL of 1420.
Got it. Chakri, you've been talking about the IT space where you're bullish on. The index is flat right now, but Birla Soft has shot up higher in the FNO space today. I wanted to just get some names from you within the IT space. Where are you really looking at positively within the large and the mid caps?
Within the IT space, I think
IT,
the HCL Technologies and Tata Consultant TCS, both of them look fine because both the fundamental outlook, order backlog that can be converted, which has been remaining dormant. All the things look good. So I think those are the two companies.
Okay.
926, ladies and gentlemen. For the moment, the Nifty slipped below 24,600. It is absolutely fine. A bit of profit booking for all those who had carried forward trades from Friday is essential. We need to maybe test 24,550 or so, and then probably you'll see an uptick on the higher side. Let's look at the pullers and draggers in the market. What is helping the Nifty on its way up? Reliance contributing 20 points, up about 1%. NTPC, which is up 2 percentage points, 406, is contributing 9 points to Nifty's green total. SBI, ONGC and ITC 6 points respectively for all three of them. What is pulling the Nifty lower? M&M 1.2% down. TCS Infosys mild profit booking, nothing to be worried about. There is nothing much to be worried about. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty. 34 stocks are in the green, 16 are in the red. As far as the broader markets are concerned, the advanced decline is improving. 1806 shares in the green, 381 in the red. Let's look at the NSE 500. 402 shares in the green, 97 in the red. Look at mid cap, 100 index, 85 are in the green. Look at small cap 100 index, 80 are in the green. So the market is extremely on a strong footing as far as the early transactions are concerned. Let us hope it continues. I just want to show you volume buzzers. Where is money moving in with heavy volume and green tick? PVR Inox. For those who watched Stree over the weekend, this has come up with a weekly total of about 190 crore rupees against a making cost of about 70-80 crore rupees. So PVR Inox, India's largest chain of cinemas, is 3.6% higher, 1554, and the volume is almost 1 percentage times. CDSL, already 50% of raised 5-day volume has been traded. Birla Soft, again 50% of volume is traded, 4.5% higher. And of course BEML, this is something that needs to be checked. Your view, Kunal, on BEML, 5.6% higher, 3,940, a tailwind in the form of new metro projects, and the stock has corrected from 5,000 rupees to what it is now.
Well, if we talk about this PEML right now trading at 3949 level, in previous trading session it formed somewhere around Harami cross candlesticks formation, which is like bullish reversal formation. Right now stock is giving a confirmation of that formation. So yes, one can get into the stock for short-term perspective, but no, SL is little bit at lower levels. So I would say rather to go for FNO side, one can go for cash side only. Right now, if we talk about strict SL, then that comes at the 3600. Right now, stock is trading at 3944 level. If we talk about target size, then the way stock has been trading, you can see a very good upside momentum would be there. First target comes at 4300, and if stock gives a breakout of 4300, then we can see good upside momentum will be there up to the level of 4800. So yes, it looks very attractive to me. One can get into the stock with strict SL of 3600.
Chakri, let's bring you into the conversation. Another space that I wanted to discuss with you is the metals and the steel space. Why? Because CLSA has come out with a report today which says that India has initiated the anti-dumping investigation against imports from Vietnam, and they believe that even if it is imposed, they see limited impact as Vietnam accounts for a small portion of steel imports, but domestic steel prices are at an 8% premium to parity, and duties will have to be substantially to raise the domestic prices, and India is now a net exporter of steel as well. They are now underweight on metal pack, and they believe any rise in opportunity should be an exit opportunity. How would you look at the entire metals basket right now?
Yeah, the entire metal basket, is usually connected to the global chain. Whenever there's a global recovery, India will do well. Indian metal companies will do well. But with the recent Supreme Court ruling, one should not underestimate that it increases the cost of doing business for all the metal companies, not just metal companies, metal, cement, mining companies. And so not just for a quarter or two, but over the next 10 years. So with the lower profitability, I think brings lower valuation. So I think until that dust settles, I'll still stay away from metals.
I think there is a 10% circuit on Ola, and that would be the how should I say the limit up for today, because normally circuits are reduced once you keep on hitting successive 20%. Let me just confirm that for you. Okay, upper circuit for today is 146.38. Yes, this is done and dusted. And Sakshi, there is an outstanding buy order of 66 lakh 64,000 shares on Ola despite a 10% circuit. This is how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just give you a trip across the market. Okay, strong move coming into the PSU sector. We track 85 PSU stocks for you. Nearly 78 of them are in the green. What is not in the green is Cochin Shipyard undergoing profit booking. Mazgaon Dock 2.8% lower. Hindustan Zinc, this is news led. And of course Dredging Corporation 3% lower, 904. Mild profit booking in SGVN, we won't mind that. What are the top gainers? We've discussed BEML. This is followed by Engineers India. Remember, Engineers India has a 1:1 correlation with all OMCs. The refineries that they set up are designed by Engineers India, again a PSU company. 4% higher, 224.25. What's clicking well? Okay, this is exciting, Sakshi. ITC reclaiming 508.65, 1.2% higher. Kunal, this is to you. How does ITC look at charts beyond 408?
Well, we talk about ITC right now trading at 508 level. Stock gave a breakout of its 444 level. After that, we saw a very good run up in the counter. Even at present level, stock is trading near to its all-time high, and the way stock has been trading, the way stock has given a breakout of its decent top. We can see further upside momentum would be there in the counter, so one can get into the stock at present level. Right now, stock is trading at 508 level. If we talk about the SL side, then 488 is a strong support that right now stock has right now. So 508, one can get into the stock with the strict SL of 488. If we talk about the target side, the first target comes at 525. And if stock gives a breakout of its 525, then 550 would be there. So yes, it's very attractive to me. One can get into the stock at 505 with strict SL of 488.
Okay, got it. Some other stocks which are also on the move of the recently listed IPOs are Unicommerce eSolutions, that's now up 17 odd % as well in trade today at 221. A strong surge being seen even on this one. Chakri, apart from Ola Electric, one of the recent IPOs that came in was Unicommerce. How do you see the story?
I'm sorry, I don't know much about that company.
Okay, got it. What else, Chakri, before we let you go, anything else that you'd like to share as to where exactly should investors be keeping the focus on now?
One is keep your focus still on utilities, and power. For instance, whether it's Suzlon has really run up, but still hold on to all those things. And all the emerging IT companies, I would freshly look at them.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Chakri, for being with us on this very special edition. And since you talked about Suzlon earlier, it's moving about 2.5%, 2.7% higher now at 82.1. Glad to have you with us today, and we'll continue to have you soon back on Market Today and on Business Today Television. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Kunal, we'll continue the discussion with you. Several of the stocks that are moving up within the market space, in the broader markets especially, stocks like Bombay Burma is up about 8% in trade today. Then we have some interesting names that are coming in. Salazar Techno Engineering, that's been on the move, is again up again in trade today. Urja Global is up by about 9.6%. I think there's a new scooter that they are talking about. It's a very interesting name also. Chetna is the name of the high-speed electric scooter. They are announcing the pre-launch of this scooter as well. So that's why this stock is also up and about. Do you track this stock at all, Kunal?
Yes, right now stock is trading at 2022 level, and it is trading about 50 MA, and it is giving a breakout of its sideways momentum in which it was trading for more than 5 to 6 days. So yes, this stock looks very good on a daily chart. One can get into the stock with strict SL of 1950, 19.50. Right now it is trading at 22 level. If we talk about target size, and first target comes at 24 level, which is its previous top. Now, if stock gives breakout of 24, when 27 would be there. So yes, this stock looks very good. One can get into stock with strict SL of 1950.
Got it.
9:37, ladies and gentlemen. We've sort of passed about 20 odd minutes in trade. The Nifty is still in the green, 48 points higher. The battle is at 24,600, and what is looking good for the moment is the money that has come back into the IT space. Sakshi, 41,000 on the Nifty IT index. This is really good news because IT is a very important component of the Nifty, and the all-time high on the Nifty IT index is 41,381. Let me just recheck this again before we commit ourselves. Yes, the all-time high is 41,381. Most likely it will be taken out. What is clicking and clicking very well is the PSU banking story. For the moment, if you look at the Nifty PSU banking index, we have 12 stocks in the PSU banking index. This is the second best gainer, 1.25% higher, 6882. Remember, this is the only index that has not hit a record high after the election results are out. On a 3-month basis, on a 1-month basis, it is still down 6.4%, but today is a day of reckoning. The finance ministry meets heads of PSU banks and regional rural banks to take a stock of the health of the sector. Keep this sector in mind. Kunal, any move that you see worth tracking in the PSU banking space? What looks good?
Well, if you talk about PSU sector and PSU stocks, right now PSU bank sector is trading with 1% uptick, and amongst this PSU counters, one stock is there which looks very good to me. It's a Canara Bank. Right now, Canara Bank is trading somewhere around 110 level. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think we can see a further upside momentum in the counter. So yes, one can get into the stock at 110 level. If we talk about support sides and downside support comes at 105 level, which one can keep as a strict SL. Now, if you talk about target size, and first target comes at 114, which is 50 DMA. If stock gives a breakout of this 114, then we can see a very good upside momentum up to the level of 120. So yes, amongst PSU counters, Canara Bank looks very good to me.
Okay, Kunal, let's also get you to give us a sense of within the railways pack, where are you looking at a fresh after that 32,000 crore rupees metro project clearance? Where do you think the maximum benefit can unfold within the railway space?
Well, many stocks are there which is performing at a very good level. But if you talk about fresh entry at present level in railways counter, then Container Corp looks very good to me. 981 is there. Not only this, if you talk about other stocks, then Titagar Wagon right now looks very good to me. Right now, Titagar Wagon is trading somewhere around 1464 level. Not only this, after creating its recent bottom, stock formed somewhere around bullish engulfing formation, and stock is trading above the high of that bullish engulfing formation. So on a daily chart, as per the chart, it looks very good. One can get into the stock in Titagar Wagon with the strict SL of 1380. If we talk about upside momentum, then stock move up to the level of 1560, and if stock gives a breakout of this 1560, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 1700. Yes, Titagar looks very good. Even Concor looks very good to me.
Okay, got it. Several stocks within the small cap space also sharply higher in trade. The entire broking capital markets related space is up and about. Angel One is up 3%, CDSL is up almost 4% higher in trade, BSE is higher in trade as well, MCX is up by 2.7%. Kunal, how are you assessing these moves within the capital markets related stocks?
Well, we already discussed about the CDSL. Now let's discuss on the MCX. Right now, MCX trading at 4766 level. Again, same in the same pattern the way CDSL is trading. Stock has already given a breakout of its recent top, which was placed at 4200. It means, and it has been trading in an uncharted territory with a positive rhythm. So we can see a further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 4900. And if stock gives a breakout of this 4900, then 5100 would be there. However, I'm not suggesting to go for fresh buy, particularly in this counter, because risk reward is not that much of favorable for the fresh recommendation. But if you have this stock in your portfolio, you can go for this stock. Now, if you talk about fresh recommendation, then I'm looking at Angel One right now. Angel One is trading at 2221 level, and it seems that stock is forming its bottom somewhere at 2000 level. So yes, one can get into stock at 2222 level with a strict SL of 2000. No doubt, SL is at a little bit lower level, but do not get worried about this SL, because we can see very good upside momentum in the target size. If we talk about target size, the first target comes at 2390, and if stock gives a breakout of this 2390, then 2670 would be there. It means we can see good upside momentum up to the level of 18% to 19% in the counter. So yes, one can get into the stock in Angel One with strict SL of 2000.
Right. I think, Sakshi, we need to take a view on the Nifty now. It's decided to move on and move up 80 points higher, 24,620 for you. And remember, the low that was today was 575. So that has now inched up. Of course, you have resistance at 24,650, and of course then at 24,700. But the mood is looking good, and like we have pointed out ever since the morning, it's the PSU banking setup that is doing extremely well. What needs to come out from this meeting is how are they going to look at this fight for deposits that's happening. Most investors who preferred to have the safety of a fixed deposit 3, 4, 5 years ago, recently over the last 2 years, have been moving that money to the capital markets, chiefly through the SIP route, where monthly inflows have now exceeded 23,000 crore rupees. There is a very heavy demand coming in for IPOs, and therefore there is a crisis within the banking sector to choose and get into low cost deposits. That's the biggest battle that is likely to happen. Taking it away is Gas Authority of India, 1.7% higher, 236.50. Any view that you would have, Kunal, on Gas Authority?
Well, if we talk about this stock particularly, right now stock is trading at 236 level. Stock is giving a breakout of its sideways momentum, in which it was trading for more than 2 weeks. Not only this, stock is continuously taking off its support of 50 days moving average. So yes, It looks very good to me on a daily chart. One can get into stock at 236 with the strict SL of 225. If we talk about target size, then first target comes at 245, which is its previous top. Now, if stock gives a breakout of this 245, then further upside momentum would be there even up to the level of 260. So we can say 9 to 10% of momentum that we can see from the present level. So yes, it looks very good for fresh buy with strict SL of 225.
Okay, got it. The one stock that's moving up within the Nifty is Shriram Finance. It's now up over 2% at 3,042. And there was an HSBC report that came in with a buy call and a target price that they've risen to 3,600 for the stock. They believe the company is in most convincing operating period in over a decade, and due to strategic clarity and healthy metrics as well. And the company retains several re-rating triggers going forward from here too. How would you look at Shriram Finance right now?
Well, I'll say wait for the time being. Right now, stock is trading at 3,046 level, and strong resistance comes at 3,060 level. So, rather to go for long at present level, one should wait. If stock gives a breakout of this 3,060 level, then only I would say to go for long. If stock gives a breakout of this level, then 3,300 will be the first target. And if stock gives a breakout of this 3,300, then one way 3,700 weakens in the counter.
Okay, so that's as far as Shriram Finance is concerned. But the PSU banking story is looking now stronger. It's moved up. In fact, the index is now the highest, crossing 2.12% higher in trade right now. The strongest moving sectoral index. PSB is up over 5%. Then you have Central Bank of India, that's up 4%. Canara Bank, UCO Bank, Union Bank. There is a sharp surge across the board within the PSU banks. I think you had talked about Canara Bank, Kunal. What else apart from Canara Bank would look positive within the PSU banking story?
Well, if you talk about other stocks which looks particularly good to me, particularly in this PSU band, and you have also mentioned, or you have already mentioned about the PSB. Not only this, UCO Bank, Union Banks are also looks very good to me. But again, among this counter, particularly PSB looks very good to me. Right now, stock is trading at 61 level. Stock has already taken the support of its strong support of 57. So one can go for long in PSB with strict SL of 57. Stock is trading at 61. Now, if we talk about target size, then first target comes at 64, and if stock gives a breakout of this 64, then 69 to 70 will be there. So 13 to 14% as a momentum that we can see in the counter. So yes, it looks very good to me with strict SL of 57.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep an eye out on NBCC. This is a stock to watch, not only because of its low ticket and high beta qualities. It's about almost 16th of July. So it's a 1 month high as far as the counter is concerned. And the all-time high for this space is 198.30. Very strong con call commentary coming in from the management in terms of strong expectations from its OPM at about 5 to 6%, and of course an equally strong order book is expected to the tune of an additional 1 lakh crore rupees. Remember, this is a government contractor. It buys or it makes agreements with government companies which have excessive and large land tracts. It constructs a lot of flats, commercial real estate on those land tracts and sells it to government companies only. So the risk of business is minimal and it is a business contractor. Kunalji, what are the charts of NBCC telling you?
Well, right now stock is trading at 191, 192 level, and stock is giving a breakout of its symmetrical triangle formation on a smaller time frame. Not only this, stock is also taking a support of its 50 EMA. So Based on this formation side, based on this indicator wise, stock looks very good to me on a daily chart. One can get into stock at 191 level with strict tester of 183. And if we talk about target size, then the way stock has been trading, comes at first target comes at 198 level, and if stock gives a breakout of this 198, we can see a further upside momentum up to the level of 208. So again, 8 to 9% of momentum that we can see in the counter. So yes, it looks very good to me on a daily chart. One can get into the stock with strict SL of 183.
Okay, got it. Let's also get you to talk about the power financing majors apart from the entire power story that's up. We're seeing stocks like NHPC, Power Grid, they're all buzzing. But even the power financing companies are coming back. They started to come back last week and even today are up, both REC, PFC. Would you look at a momentum that would continue to build on from here?
Well, if you talk about REC, PFC, then particularly REC right now is staying at 587 level. Stock is taking a support of its 50 mm, and the way stock has been trading, I think one can get into the stock at 588 with a strict SL of somewhere around 575. Target size and first target comes at somewhere around of 608, and if stock gives a breakout of 608, then 630 would be there. So yes, REC looks very good to me on a daily chart. Even if you talk about PFC, then right now PFC is trading somewhere around 511. But in PFC, I would say wait for the time, because wait for the time being, because strong resistance comes at 550. So if stock gives a breakout of this 515, then afterwards we can see upside momentum up to the level of 560. So in PFC, create a position only after 515.
Okay, got it. I also wanted to ask you on the OMC space particularly, which of the three counters would you be really looking at if one has to really chart the momentum? All the three stocks are up and about. So what would you advise here if somebody wants to take a bet right here within the within the OMCs, BPCL, HPCL, IOC?
Well, amongst these three counters, IOC looks very good to me, because if you talk about BPCL and HBCL, risk reward is not that much of favorable for creating a fresh position. But if you talk about IOC, then right now IOC is trading at somewhere around 170, sustaining above its 50 MA, and it has given a gap opening also. So yes, IOC looks very good on a daily chart. One can get into the stock at 170 with strict SL of 163. If we talk about target size, then first target comes at 176, and if stock gives a breakout of this 176, then 185 would be there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are 7 minutes left to wrap this show up. It's a nice shade of green if you ignore the Nifty and the Nifty Bank, and they should rest. They should rest because Friday was a very difficult day for them. They worked really, really hard, and they came up with strong gains. So some of them are being taken back by the market, which is absolutely, absolutely fine. What's clicking in the green, Sakshi? A bit of sweetness creeping back into the markets thanks to sugar stocks. Remember, the new step from the government is to somehow get ethanol blending in diesel as well, and that's enthusing a lot of sugar companies which are major producers of ethanol. Okay, we track 33 sugar companies, ladies and gentlemen. 32 are in the green. Actually, all 33 are in the green except for ISJEC, which is actually a maker of sugar equipment. So Bajaj Hindustan 4% higher, 41.25. Awadh Sugar is something that I have tracked, 4% higher, 688. Triveni 3.6% higher, 430. And all this started with Balrampur Sugar. Where is Balrampur? Chini 531, 1.6%. Except for Balrampur, all of them are cash counters. Sri Renuka Sugars 1.8% higher, 47.16. Mavana, DCM Shriram, all showing decent 2% upticks. What else? as a sector is clicking. I think cement is in a decent shape today. There is news, or how should I say, unconfirmed news, that you just might see a price increase in southern states. So what is in the green? Stocks based out of South India. Shiva Cement 5.8% higher, 56. Prism Johnson 2% higher, 159. Dalmia Bharat 1.3% higher, 1774. Just a mild shade of green across cement as far as prices are concerned. 956. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, we'll just have to now wrap up the markets. Looks like the Nifty banks now slipped into the red. Financial services and private banks have also given up some of the gains right there. Auto stocks are also down by about 0.3%. So some profits being shaved off from some of the sectors at the higher levels as well. What's still holding up strong is the PSU banking story, about 1.7% uptick. Oil and gas also about 1.7% higher in trade. Then we also have media, metals, the broader markets, consumer durables. These are the stock sectors that are still moving up. Within the Nifty, you have BPCL, ONGC, Hindalco, Shriram Finance, NTPC as among the top movers on the Nifty. While within the top losers, we have stocks like Apollo Hospitals, that's now seeing some profits being shaved off. Grasim, M&M, HDFC Life, Axis Bank and Nestle, these remain as the top laggards right now. F&O space is clearly throwing us some interesting names like Birla Soft, that's up 7%. Aditya Birla Capital's come back strongly, 6.2% higher. Then you have Metropolis Healthcare, LIC Housing Finance and PVR Annex as some of the movers within the F&O space. While on the downside, you have Apollo Hospitals again, then you have M&M and HDFC Life, Grasim as some of the top laggards right here. But let's get Kunal to talk about Aditya Birla Capital. Kunal, how about this stock? Is the move convincing enough? We did see a sharp move across the board within this group, but then the momentum dwindled. How would you look at AB Capital right now?
Well, right now stock is trading at 216 level above its previous bottom, which is placing at 213 level, and stock is forming double bottom formation. So yes, it looks very good on a daily chart. One can get into the stock at 215 with a strict SL of somewhere around 205. If we talk about target size, and first target comes at 230, and if stock gives a breakout of the 230, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 239. So yes, on a daily chart, this stock looks very good.
Okay. Anything for the rest of the day, Kunal, that you'd like to highlight before we let you go?
Well, one stock is there, and it's a Wabak. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart, right now stock is trading at 1362 level, and recently stock has given a breakout on a weekly and monthly chart. Even it has taken a support of 50 ms. So these stocks particularly looks very good to me on a daily chart. One can get into the stock at 1355 level and with a strict SL of 1270. If we talk about target size, then first target comes at 1420, and if stock gives a breakout of this 1420, then 1580 would be there. So yes, Wabak looks very good on daily chart.
Got it. Well, thank you so much, Kunal, for being with us
Thank you.
on this special edition and sharing all your thoughts with all our viewers. We'll wrap it up at that now. 33 points higher in trade even now. 24,575 on your screens on the Nifty. We've come off the high point of the day, but let's see how the day really follows up. Out of all the indices, there are just Nifty Bank, Financial Services, private banks and autos that are down. Rest of them are still holding up in trade. Let's see if that momentum continues. India VIX is up by 1.8% at 14.6. So some volatility aspect that we need to track right now. It's completely the oil and gas stocks that are hovering higher, and some of the metal stocks like Hindalco that are buzzing sharply up in trade, 2.3% higher now, and some IT space stocks that are making a comeback. It was down in the initial part of the day, but some of the stocks are actually making a comeback right now. The PSE index is up by 1.4%. led by largely the entire oil and gas and the power and the energy space as well. Wrapping up at that, viewers, do stay tuned with us throughout the course of the day, as we will continue to get you some exciting coverage across the board with top market masters throughout the day as well. Thank you so much.
tell us 3 or 4 stocks that you think merit a buy for the long term. अभी मेरे को आजकल परसों का नहीं पूछना. For the long term, say 1 year, 2 years time frame, which people, our viewers, can get into at current levels, or at least keep them on the radar. Maybe 2 or 3 stocks that you would want, except for BKG Foods, which has gone up 100%.
No, absolutely, Shail sir. I think when I was speaking about domestic cyclical sectors, one stock that should be on your watch list, and which is on Marketspace India's watch list as well, is Praj Industries. Now, again, I think it's an entire proxy, not in terms of how the sugar sector is just evolving or is expected to evolve.